Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. This one is a preview for the 2025 FIA World Rally Championship season. And in this video we're going to be going through the events, the entries in different categories, as well as some of the new rules for 2025 and the ones to watch for the season ahead. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about the WRC for 2025. The WRC will have 14 rounds, the longest since 2008 when we had 15 events. 2016 was originally meant to have 14 until Rally China was cancelled, and so was 2019 until Rally Australia was cancelled as the teams arrived due to wildfires. The season will open with the traditional Rally Monte Carlo and Rally Sweden events around St Andrews and Valentine's Days respectively, with the Safari keeping its round 3 slot but moving forward to late March, its earliest appearance in the calendar since 2000. A brand new event in the WRC follows the Rally La Canaria, an ERC staple in the Canary Islands, which brings Spain's return to the WRC for the first time since 2022. It is the first of 3 new events on the 2025 calendar, with 2 new countries, being the most since 2007 saw Norway and Ireland join the calendar. This is the first pure tarmac event of the calendar, with Monte Carlo's icy roads and the snow of Sweden followed by the rough safari. This will happen over Easter weekend. After this, we begin to dance our way down the Mediterranean. Portugal retains its mid-May date, with Sardinia 3 weeks later in early June, and the Acropolis 3 weeks after that at the end of June. The earliest it has been in the calendar since it returned in 2021. 3 weeks after the Acropolis, we have the first of 2 near double headers. In the Baltics, Estonia returns to the calendar after a year on the sidelines in the ERC, with the Gravel Grand Prix of 1,000 Lakes in Finland 2 weeks later. Following Finland, we have our next near double header starting 4 weeks afterwards. The second new rally of the calendar, Rally Paraguay, runs at the end of August and is followed up 2 weeks later by Rally Chile in mid-September. After this is a bit of a dance around the globe. The Central European Rally runs for the 3rd time in mid-October, with Rally Japan and Toyota City in early November, and our final new event, Rally Saudi Arabia, taking place at the end of November. This is billed as an all-new event, with its candidate test event only taken a few months prior, whilst the other 2 new events have been part of their Continental and National Series for decades. In terms of entries, we don't have a full entry list as of yet, but we can talk about some of the big names in Rally 1, Rally 2 and Rally 3. In Rally 1, the top class will see no fewer than 9 cars at all events in 2025. Reigning world champion Terry Nerval will head Hyundai's charge, the number 1 in his car, and co-driver Martin Vidal go alongside, joined by 2019 champions Oyt Tanak and Martin Yarvayoya, and new signings Adrian Fulmo and Alexandra Correa. Fulmo and Correa were poached from M Sport as Hyundai sought to have a 3rd full-time driver for 2025, the first time they've started the season with a planned full-time lineup since 2017. And, if they see it through without a 4th car in some events, the first time in their history they'll have the same drivers nominated for a point on all events since their return in 2014. They missed out on the chance to do the double on the final stage of the final rally last year after Tanak crashed out of the lead on the final morning of the season. Manufacturers champions Toyota will be hoping to go 5 in a row in 2025, something the Japanese manufacturer has never done before, and something only accomplished twice with Citroën between 2008 and 2012, and Lancia, who won 6 in a row between 1987 and 1992. They will be led by double champion Carlo Rofenpera, who returns to full-time rallying after a part-time 2024 campaign, joined full-time by Elfyn Evans and Takamoto Katsuta, as well as full-time rookie Sami Pairi. The 2024 WRC2 champion impressed on his 3 starts with the team in 2024, with a best finish of 4th on debut in Finland. 8-time champion Sebastian Ogier will appear on half the events, likely 7 events like Rofenpera did last season. We already know that he'll be on the Monte, and we can expect that he'll be in Japan and probably Portugal, the CER, and perhaps some of the new events. Don't expect him in Sweden or Finland, however. He's not a fan of these fast, jumpy rallies. M Sport Ford are going to be interesting. They will once again boast 2 full-time entries, retaining last year's rookie Gregoire Munster, as the Luxembourg will try to get his first podium, as well as recruiting Rally 1 rookie Josh McAleen. The Irishman will be joined alongside by Owen Tracy, John Armstrong's co-driver from the ERC last season, and second pairing changes for 2025 as Pairi teams up with Marko Salminen after parting with Eni Malkonen. But don't expect these to be the only entries in Rally 1 this season. Jordan Serdaridis can be expected in a handful of events in the Puma, likely the Safari as well as his home rally of the Acropolis, whilst JWRC and ERC3 driver Ali Turkan has suggested that he might enter a couple of events after spending the past couple of years running around with Castrol-backed Fiestas. Toyota might see Lorenzo Bertelli jump back behind the wheel, with the Prada Air typically found in Sweden or his home event Sardinia, whilst Hyundai haven't ruled out running a fourth car, which could be done for veteran drivers such as Danny Sordo in events that are their specialty. In WRC2, Citroën, who won last year's Teams Championship with DG Sport, have reunited with PH Sport for 2025. With links to go back to the early days of Lurban Ogier, they have retained Johan Roussel and paired him up with his brother, 2024 French tarmac champion Leo Roussel. This marks the first siblings as drivers in the same team in WRC2 since the Balachas and Skodas. Taking Pyre's Principal ride after the Finn graduated to Rally 1 is Oliver Solberg. After spending the past 2 years aboard Toksport Skodas, the Swede moves to the winning car from 2024 as part of a new partnership with Toyota. In a Toyota this season is rumoured to be Diego Dominguez Jr., the WRC3 champion in 2024 whose own rally in Paraguay makes his WRC debut this year. With Skoda, they are once again led in a Toksport outfit by Gus Greensmith, the former Ford Works driver, whilst Nikolai Gryajan will also be a Ford Fabia again this season. The lead Ford in 2024 is arguably Romain Jurgensen. A fellow graduate from Rally 3 to Dominguez, the gamer-turned-driver was last year's JWRC champion, and the Rally Star driver has now been funded for a full WRC2 campaign aboard an M-Sport-prepared Fiesta Rally 2. In terms of Rally 3 and WRC3, WRC3 is very much the little brother of WRC2. Rally 3 machines are less powerful, less extravagant Rally 2 cars, putting out just over 200 horsepower, while Rally 2s are typically around the 300 mark. However, much like in WRC2, WRC drivers take their best 6 scores from 7 entries over the course of the season. Whilst there is a massive variety of Rally 2 machinery on the market, you only see 2 manufacturers at Rally 3 level, Ford and Renault. The Fiesta is tried and tested, there are 2 generations of them on the stages technically speaking, however, the Clio does win the occasional event. The French manufacturer's first 4-wheel drive car in Rally is very competitive on the stages, has only gotten better since its release. The leading challenger last season, Diego Dominguez Jr. has entered for Monte Carlo in WRC3. However, we are yet to see how many events he will do in the Rally 3 category, as he's rumoured to do Rally 2 as well. And however, whilst you will usually only see a handful of WRC3 entrants at most events, at a handful there will be dozens. And that's because, unlike with WRC2, there's a separate championship with Rally 3 cars that occasionally pops up on the WRC calendar. The Junior World Rally Championship for 2025 will appear at 5 rounds in 2025, each one different to the last. Drivers must be under 29 years old at the start of the season, and every driver is in identical M-Sport prepared Ford Fiesta Rally 3s. Their season starts in Sweden, before 3 gravel rallies that each test the driver in different ways. Portugal is more sandy and dusty, with some technical sections, some more flowing parts. The Acropolis teaches endurance and perseverance as part of the Rally of the Gods. Finland is a high-speed gravel Grand Prix. And then the Seoul Tarmac Rally, the Central European Rally, is 3 different countries and 3 distinct types of stage across 3 days of competitive action. However, unlike WRC2 or the main WRC, the rules are slightly different. Drivers can score points for winning stages here, and in the last few seasons the finale has been giving drivers double the points of other events too. It's all about consistency, pace, risk and reward in this series in equal parts. In terms of new rules for 2025, 2 headline changes for 2025 are the removal of hybrid and changes to the point system that were incredibly unpopular in 2024. You can check out my explainers in the description section down below. Hybrid was one of the big talking points when Rally 1 came into being in 2022. The most powerful cars in the history of the WRC? Sign me up. With reduced costs and lots of common parts of the Rally 2s? That's excellent. The problem is it ended up being more expensive. With new regulations originally planned for 2025 that were only going to increase the costs, being the last straw. This season's cars will be lighter, although also less powerful coming out of corners or jumping off the start line. Expect to see this most pronounced on dry tarmac, like Isla Canaria or the CER, are less pronounced on the fast and loose rallies like Finland or Sweden. The point system is also changing again for 2025. Last year had a system which had never seen before in the WRC, where points were given for the top 10 on Saturday with bonus points available on the Sunday for the fastest times across the final stages, as well as the power stage points in the final test of the event. This year reverts back to end of rally points at the top 10, albeit with second receiving 17 points instead of 18, though it keeps the Super Sunday and power stage bonus points for the top 5 drivers in each part. That means that the very best can now score up to 35 points per rally, rather than 30 as in previous seasons. And a third big change for 2025 is more experimentation with rally formats. In previous years, rallies were more heavily regulated by the FIA, typically having to be 3-day events over 300 kilometers. Now they're allowing shorter events, like the 48-hour Rally Sardinia in 2024, and longer events like we're to expect from the Safari this year. It's not clear if we're going to expect gargantuan stages like the Guanajuato test of years gone by, or the mammoth tests of classic Safari rallies. And that's something we'll have to wait and see in the future. Now, in terms of ones to watch, the driver who's known the Rally 1 cars like no other is Carlo Rovanperä. He's graduated from Rally 2s at the right time, meaning that he wasn't dependent on the final generation World Rally car suspensions, as he still had recent experience with the stick sequential shifter and the more restrictive components from suspension to differential. Don't let his Checkers or Wreckers performances last season fool you. He's still arguably the guy to beat in Rally 1. The other two full-time champions will also be ones to watch. Oit Tanak was unlucky last season, and unlucky a lot. Meanwhile, the reigning champion, Thierry Neuville, was consistently at the pointy end of the field and played the points game well. But you can expect at least half the Rally 1 field to compete for the win on any given event. 2024 saw 6 different winners across the 13 rallies, the highest since 2017 where we saw 7 in as many events. And we have 5 different event winners starting the season, 4 of them world champions, the most we've had at the start of a season since 2003. And don't rule out any first time winners either. Formo had great pace in the Puma restricted in development budget last season, and Katsuta and Pyrie have shown rally winning pace before as well. But that's where we'll leave it for now. Thank you so much for watching and joining as always, folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I hope to see you around as we'll do previews and reviews for every single WRC event, covering Rally 1, Rally 2 and Rally 3. Until then, it's bye-bye for now.